Okay, so what is a Mooney M20C? This is a Mooney M20C. They've made them from 1961 to 1976. The last few years were called Rangers. The thing about a Mooney M20C is it's the short fuselage, it's the 180 horsepower, carbureted like homing 0360. It's the same airframe as an E, but it's just got the smaller engine in it. So the C, the early ones, 61 to 64, have a rear window that kind of is more D-shaped, and they look a little bit strange. The 65 and newer, this is a 65, have the square window, and personally I like the look of that square window. So, same wing as an E, but it's just the 180 horsepower as opposed to the 200 horsepower. Okay, a Mooney M20C and its features and modifications. The C always can be recognized by the carburetor box over an E, which looks very similar. The E is smooth chin, the E has the ram induction door, the C is just a square carburetor box, air intake, and the air filter in there is a K&N, or it's like an easy breathing one, not a bracket, not a paper filter. Oil cooler in the front, obviously landing light with a fairing over it. And then it's got a speed mod here called the cowl closure, which is a laser, Mooney laser product, gets better airflow through the engine. This is the AD-free hub as well. It's important. It's a suffix B hub, so you don't have to do a 100-hour eddy current check on it. And the major mod on this plane in particular, it's a 65C. It's got the square windows. The 64 is the arch-shaped windows. You can tell it's a 65 on newer. It's got a 201 windshield in it. The original windshield would be about there to about there, and much more vertical. So this is the 201 windshield. You lose a big area of the avionics bay access, but there are two little access ports here on the other side, so you can still get in behind the panel with it. But this is 5 knots and $5,000, but it makes the plane look a lot more modern. It's faster, and also here on the wing root, that's another speed mod. Normally the wing would just hit the fuselage, and the fuselage have a 90 degree on it. That is a nice little speed mod on it too. So that's some of the things you can do to a C to speed it up. Identifying features of the early Moonies. The C models, this is a 65C, and the E models have short rudders. They end right here at the tail cone. The E's and F's, sorry, the G's and F's, and all the newer Moonies rudders go right to the bottom of the tail cone. So if you see it end here, and it's this little short rudder, that's a C or an F. So a lot of the later Moonies have factory speed mods already on them. The early planes like this 65 M20C, you can add them. And this is a classic one here that would be on a 231, a K, or newer or faster. This whole piece is added to bring the curvature of the fuselage out to flush, so it minimizes the gap here between the horizontal stabilizer and the fuselage. So that's a very nice feature to have on it. This also, when you trim the entire tail, remember the entire vertical fin and horizontal stabilizer moves like this. This gap becomes smaller and bigger during trim. The reason they don't have a trim tab is because trim tabs are drag, and drag slows down the plane, and Moonies want to be fast. So there's no trim tab. So as you trim it, this opens and closes, and this piece is a speed mod. That's another one on it. And then lastly, on the back, over here, there's a very useful feature not many Mooney owners know about for holding your pen. Or not. That is actually a little tube that's on the back of the rudder of the early flat-skin Moonies to break the suction. So as the airflow comes off it, it breaks the suction, reduces the drag, enhances the speed. And that won't be on any rudders that have the flutes in them, which would be on later Fs and Gs and 201s and the faster Moonies. So that's an amusing little aside there that I always like to mention.